Warm greetings to my dear students. I welcome you all to YouTube class. Today I'll be discussing topic Hitler's rise to power with you in this video. And this topic, Hitler's rise to power, is from the chapter Nazism and Rise of Hitler from the history portion of social studies. Hitler's rise to power. Hitler was born in Austria in 1889. The socio-economic and the political conditions of Germany, they led to the rise of Hitler. After the Versailles Treaty, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party in 1919, which was later renamed as National Socialist German Workers' Party. It was later known as Nazi Party. In 1923, Hitler planned to seize the control of Bavaria, and he marched to Berlin and captured the power. He was arrested, tried for treason, and later he was released. After 1929, the banks collapsed, business shut down, and the people lost their jobs. In this situation of despair, Nazi propaganda gave hopes of a better future to the German people. In 1928, the Nazi Party got only 2.6% of the votes in elections to the German parliament. But by 1932, it had become the largest party with 37% of votes. Promises which were made by Hitler. Hitler made a lot of promises. He was a powerful speaker. His passionate speeches about the fatherland and the promises inspired the German people. The promises which were made by Hitler were as follows. Number one, he promised to build a strong nation and undo the justice of the Versailles Treaty. He promised that he will restore the dignity of the German people and he will create opportunities for unemployed youth or unemployed people. The second promise which he made was that he will provide employment for those who are looking for job and secure future for the youth. The third promise was to weed out or to remove all the foreign influences and to resist all the foreign conspiracies against Germany. Developments at the time of Hitler. The red banners with the swastika, the Nazi salute, and the ritualized rounds of applause after every speech were the new development at the time of Hitler. Nazi propaganda skillfully projected Hitler as a messiah or as a savior, as someone who had arrived to help the German people in a time of acute economic and political crisis. The important development which took place at the time of Hitler was the destruction of democracy. On 30th Jan 1933, President Hindenburg, he offered the chancellorship to Hitler. It was the highest position in the cabinet of ministers after gaining power. Having acquired the power, suspension of civic rights, and Hitler started to destroy the structures of the democratic rule. Elimination of Communists. A mysterious fire broke out in the German parliament building. And this fire, it facilitated his move in removing the democratic structures in Germany. Hitler indefinitely suspended the civic rights like freedom of speech, freedom of press and assembly by the fire decree of 28 Feb 1933. The communists, they were the enemies of Hitler. After suspension of civic rights, Hitler turned on to the communists. Most of them were sent to newly established concentration camps. The repression of the communists was severe. However, they were only one among the 52 types of victims prosecuted by Nazis across the country. The Enabling Act. On 3rd March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed, which gave Hitler all the powers to sideline the parliament and rule by decree. This act established dictatorship in Germany. All the political parties and the trade unions, except the Nazi Party and its affiliates, were banned. The state established the complete control over the economy, over media, army, and judiciary. Apart from already existing regular police in the green uniform, the Nazi government introduced secret state police, which was also known as Gestapo or Gestapo. It depends on you how you will pronounce it. The protection squads, the criminal police, and the security service were also introduced. After gaining extra constitutional power of newly organized forces, it gave Nazi state its reputation as the most dreaded criminal state. People were detained in the Gestapo torture chambers, they were rounded up and they were sent to the concentration camps, deported at will, or arrested without any legal procedures. Economic reconstruction. Hitler gave the responsibility of the economic recovery to the economist Jalmar. He wanted full production and full employment through a state-funded work creation program. As a result, the famous German superhighways and people's car, the Volkswagen, were made. Success in the foreign policy. In foreign policy, Hitler acquired quick successes. He pulled out of the League of Nations in 1933 and reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936. In 1938, under the slogan, "One people, one empire and one leader," Austria and Germany were integrated by Hitler. In 1938, Hitler seized the German-speaking Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia and then took over the whole country. In all this, Hitler had unspoken support of England, which had considered the Versailles verdict too harsh. His economist had advised Hitler against investing hugely in rearmament. I repeat once again, his economist had advised Hitler against investing hugely in rearmament as the state still ran on the deficit financing. The Second World War. Hitler chose war as the way out of approaching economic crisis. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and this started a war with France and England. In September 1940, a tripartite pact. Tripartite means a pact which is signed between three states or three countries. So in September 1940, a tripartite pact was signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan. Hitler attacked the Soviet Union in June 1941, and this was the historic mistake made by the Hitler. The Soviet Red Army, they defeated Germany at Stalingrad. In the beginning, US remained quite neutral in the Second World War. But when Japan extended its support to Hitler and bombed the US base at Pearl Harbor, the US entered the Second World War. The Second World War, it ended in May 1945 with Hitler's defeat. Japan surrendered in August 1945 after US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I hope my video will be helpful.